Did a spirit exact revenge with the very weapon used to murder her? How is that even possible? Stay with me whilst I endeavour to find out. I'm Ceridwen, and today I have another story from The World's Greatest Ghosts by Nigel Blundell and Roger Boar, the book which gave me nightmares as a child. I'm going through all the stories in the order as they appear in my 1988 print version to see if they stand up to scrutiny. If you missed the previous instalments on Tales from the World's Greatest Book series, no really that's what it's called, feel free to pop off and watch those now. Otherwise, let's get on with it. The third entry in The World's Greatest Ghosts is titled Noose for a Strangler. Sadly, there is no subheading for this one. But strap in, lads and lasses, this one does get grim. It has content warnings for violence against women, death, suicide, generalised sexism, and my favourite, flimflammery. And if this is the sort of thing that sparks joy in you, I'm concerned, but please go ahead and subscribe and like the video if you haven't already. So this effort concerns a man by the name of George Gaffney, who is called a petty thief in the text, and was based in Soho, London. In March 1910, he purchased what the book calls a thuggee cord, which Gaffney allegedly recognised. We'll get back to this cord, this rope, in the analysis after the story, but it's described as a strange 3-foot length of woven silk rope, and Gaffney proceeds to use it 2 weeks after the purchase. He strangled a woman called Bessie Graves with it, as she was pregnant, and expected him to marry her as a result. Gaffney had given her a false name instead of his own. He'd masqueraded as Arthur Eames, and he was not interested in Bessie anymore. He had a new target, Stella Fortney. Stella was a widow, older but rich, and that wealth had captured Gaffney's attention. Bessie's landlady called the police at Scotland Yard, who found poor Bessie, strangulation with the rope obviously the cause of death. The landlady must have given the name of Arthur Eames, but the police couldn't or wouldn't do much with it, and Gaffney was still getting about after Stella Fortney. He decided she would be more enamoured with him if he turned up at her home in a hansom cab. This is a 2-wheeled covered carriage pulled by a horse, and the driver sits at the back in an elevated position outside and behind the carriage. So he did precisely this, but whilst he was sitting in the carriage, he started screaming as Bessie was suddenly there, right next to him. Well, this is gross, I'm so sorry, but her tongue was said to be lolling from her mouth, all swollen, and she stared at him with glassy eyes. The rope was still around her neck. Well, this ensured Gaffney spent the next month drinking to try and get over the shock. He also skipped out on meeting up with Stella the cat. After a while, Gaffney decided he was going to visit Stella again, and this time he was armed with a diamond ring which he had conveniently stolen for the proceedings. This convinced Stella to spend some time with him. The ring, not its method of acquisition. He presumably neglected to mention that part. And they consumed a bottle of champagne. Stella asked Gaffney to pop to the dark cellar for a fresh bottle, a kerosene lamp as his only light. He encountered Bessie's spirit emerging from the darkness, the murder weapon now loose, swinging, according to the book, from her throat like a necklace. She was still staring at him, and he reflexively threw the lamp at her and screamed as he fell down the stairs into the cellar. Well, this meant a hospital stay of 3 weeks to recover from the fall, during which time Gaffney came up with a plan. He must escape England on the next ship out, and thereby he would escape Bessie. On release from hospital, Gaffney booked a spot on the ocean liner Montrose, which was bound for Quebec, Canada, and on the night before its departure he was in a hotel room, just waiting. But of course, Bessie wasn't having any of this escaping lark, and Julie appeared in front of Gaffney again. Now unrestrained, the rope he strangled her with was now in her hand, and she was holding it out to him, her intention quite clear. Gaffney did not protest. he did not fight back. He just accepted the rope from her, and thus his fate, whereupon Bessie disappeared. Gaffney wrote his confession down, not holding back on his gruesome ghostly encounters with Bessie, and then hanged himself. Thereafter, Scotland Yard were on the scene and, thanks to Gaffney's written confession, duly considered the case of Bessie's murder to be closed, although I'm not sure if they did anything to investigate it ahead of time, to be fair. The only thing they couldn't get their heads around was one small, but quite crucial fact. The rope used to murder Bessie had been locked up tight as evidence, secure in Scotland Yard's unbreakable vaults. So then, how did Gaffney acquire the very same rope to hang himself with? Oh, another spooky one. To be fair, they all should be spooky in this book. Oh dear, where to start? Friends, we have another one from the Weekly World News. Originally by journalist Rob Robbins, which it's got to be a pseudonym. I am beginning to think the authors of World's Greatest Ghost had a subscription to Weekly World News. I tried to check British newspapers of the mentioned date around 1910 and thereafter, and I found no corollary to this tale. I mean, I could analyse it further, but the rope mentioned it's tied to a racist colonialist piece of nonsense. I really don't want to get into. It's not what this channel is going to be about. Another thing, I can't think why turning up in a horse and carriage is more impressive, given at this time we have petrol-fueled vintage cars running around as taxis. But if I'm being kind, maybe he's trying to be romantic. Maybe he's trying to evoke Stella's presumably Victorian youth. And maybe she hates motoring and prefers the older, horsier ways. Anyway, it doesn't actually matter. None of it matters, because it is hokum. It is silliness. It's a daft morality tale of a sort. I mean, it's good fun. It would make a great entry in an anthology horror series on TV, but yet again, it is not real. It's not a real story. This didn't happen to real people. Well, in its favour, at least it has a vengeful ghost, a proper ghost this time. But we can conclude there's a neat reason why these stories aren't coming with references, and actually don't feel as much. There's more need to look into it. I just don't feel it's there. Anyway, in the next video, let's have a break from all this ghosty stuff, because it's all been a bit disappointing so far, even if the tales themselves were entertaining. Next time, I'll be having a look at the world's greatest UFO mysteries, and I am sure nothing can go wrong, and it'll be completely true stories with nothing sensationalised at all. Until then, thanks for watching, especially for staying till the end. I'm sorry it's been disappointing. Why not pop a like on the video if you liked it, subscribe if you're not already subscribed, and comment below if you have thoughts on dodgy pseudo-Edwardian nonsense. Thank you, goodbye.